Okay. Hey guys, welcome. Today's Wednesday, the 20th May. So right now we have Kelsey and Jonathan from DLP Realty in Pennsylvania, and we're going to chat about, Pennsylvania being the last state in the country to actually get real estate back as a essential service. And that was a special announcement that just happened last night. So
Mhm.
we're going to talk about that today. But first off, let's introduce Jonathan and Kelsey. Kelsey, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm a real estate specialist with DLP Realty. Our headquarters is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I've been with the company for about 5 years.
Nice. How about
Awesome.
you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I've been in real estate 10 plus years now, and run a team in Pennsylvania and in parts of New Jersey as well. And did a little over 2,000 transactions last year, and just with a small team, about 21 agents. So it's been a really, really good venture for sure, and just excited to be back open. My blood's still pumping. So.
I'm sure you guys heard about that last night, right?
Yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster for sure. Because in the morning, our governor vetoed a bill that would open us back up, and then randomly, end of day news, he said, "Hey, you guys are back up and running statewide." Obviously, with a lot of showing restrictions in place, which we can get into. But yeah, it's definitely an emotional ride for sure yesterday.
So what happened yesterday? Like you mentioned the afternoon, he vetoed it, and then he came back. He gave a response and says you guys can open it up back up as a essential service. So what did your office do? What did you guys do?
Yeah. So the funny thing is during this whole time, during our shutdown, so we've been shut down since March 16th, so over 2 months. And really, what I mean by shut down is we were not allowed to take photos of any properties. We were not allowed to enter any vacant homes. We had very, very strict orders. Where what we did is we shifted. So we decided, hey, we're not going to just sit around and let our governor dictate everything that we have. So we said, hey, we're going to be able to still provide home selling services and help people show and sell a house virtually. So we went 100% virtual, where they weren't allowed to go into the home at all, like I said, including vacant homes. So what we did was we implemented some pretty cool techniques where we actually had our home sellers take their own video walkthroughs, and we had our own home sellers jump on like a Zoom call and walk our buyers through the properties and answer questions. So the transparency that we were able to build over the last 60 days, really, like between the home seller and the home buyer relationship, has been an absolutely incredible journey. And funny thing is, yeah, we slowed down from a home sales standpoint, where we're used to selling about or putting homes under contract about 3 to 4 a day. But we went down to about 1 a day, so a little over 1 a day. So definitely took a hit, but at the same time, it didn't stop us. We were still continuing to move forward.
So how did that's a big change from saying, you said March 13th, the Pennsylvania shut down all real estate services, and you guys are opening back up in a sense that you're doing everything virtually, and you're having to work with your buyers, your sellers, and coordinate everything being virtual, and setting up your client, teaching your clients, guiding them on how to actually show their house, how to talk about it, and provide information, and then teaching your buyers, here's how we can go check out houses, schedule virtual tours, schedule our virtual open houses, ask questions, sight unseen, and still doing deals during that time period. Being less from 4 a day to 1 a day, that's still really good, being that you can't, physically see a house. And how did your sellers take that? Like, how did they take that challenge and change into the pace?
Yeah, go ahead, Kelsey. I mean, your front lines with that. For sure.
Absolutely. So you could deal with it two ways. We had some people who decided they weren't going to participate in this. And then, there was the stance that we took was that we are going to take this head on and provide the solutions to our sellers to give them that confidence back, because there was a lot of fear and a lot of paranoia that was being obviously created with the virus. And that was it. We had over communication with our clients. We sent out updates to them every time there was a change with the legislation, every time they tried to pass a bill. We sent them updates on the coronavirus and safety regulations. And then the biggest thing that we were doing was just making sure that they knew that we knew what was going on. We were making sure our clients were safe, and we were providing those solutions. And we had tutorials that we sent out. Here's how to take a video of your home. Here's how to use Zoom and do a Zoom meeting with the buyers and the sellers. And we really did a lot for them, and I think that showed with all the properties that we managed to put under agreement and close through that period.
Nice.
Jonathan,
And then go ahead.
No, good.
you want to add?
So when you do that and you switch over to virtual, like, are lenders allowed to get appraisals? Are you allowed to get inspectors? Are you allowed to, what can you do?
There wasn't a lot we could do. So the crazy thing is what we were doing is we put the home under contract, and it was either, hey, you're going to buy this sight unseen, or we'll make it contingent upon you seeing the home via like an inspection. So yeah, home inspectors were not allowed to enter any homes, and appraisers were not allowed to enter any homes. So the mortgage industry actually shifted. A lot of underwriters were actually allowing drive-by appraisals, and we saw a big shift from the mortgage industry there. So the mortgage companies weren't shut down; they were actually able to still perform on the loan, but they couldn't. Title companies, we have title companies here. We don't really deal with attorneys in Pennsylvania. So with our title companies, what they were doing is they weren't allowed to do any in-office closings. So what they were doing is they were doing some unique things where they would host them outside. They would have like a tent set up outside, and then the buyer would be in there, and then the title officer would be like in his car reading the same documents to him. So the shift of just getting stuff done and getting it done was in high gear, and it was all about over communication and really bringing the consumer the confidence that they needed during that time. Because what we noticed is buyers are still buying and sellers are still selling, and they wanted to get transactions done. Yes, some of them did not, and they wanted to be on pause. Others were like, hey, I need to move. I need to do something. My life situation is changing. So we were there to shift and do whatever we needed to do to make that happen.
Could you imagine that, like, looking back now, March is quite a bit of, it's over 60 days ago, almost 70 days now, right? Or
Yeah.
probably, I kind of lost count. It's just like, Groundhog's Day over and over and over and over,
Mhm.
especially when you guys have family, you have kids and everything. Could you imagine this? It's already been so long that it's been going on, and I'm glad you guys had made a shift right away, and that you guys have focused on how can we help serve our sellers and buyers, and how do we move forward with the challenges we have ahead. A lot of people just, hunker down and close their eyes and hide in a hole, and they don't move forward. They don't think about, how do I best help serve my clients, and how do we get through these, and how do we teach them and guide them and motivate them to get what their goals are in terms of, like, upgrading, downgrading, relocating. And that's good. You guys are definitely doing that and helping all your clients go through that. How did the buyers take it how do they feel when they're trying to buy a house virtually?
How do they feel? So it's funny. Some of them, they just need that confidence, the consumer confidence. So for us, what it shifted into was like, hey, if we can get that agent, if we can get that home seller on a Zoom call and have them walk the buyer through. So what we would do is we'd set it up with the buyer, and we say, hey, buyer, what we're going to do is we're going to actually get you access to the home. We're going to get you even better in a better experience, because you have to imagine, like right now, your standard and your typical real estate transaction, your home seller is leaving the property. They're taking their dog, they're taking their family, they're vacating the property. You're allowing the buyer to walk through the home with an agent that most likely doesn't know much about the property anyway. And then they're going to ask you very specific questions about the home. And then what are you going to say as an agent? Oh, hey, I'm going to get back to you about that, or I'll follow up with the seller about that. So what we did is we understood that psychology, and we said, well, why don't we just go right to the home seller and say, hey, you guys both understand that we're not going to go into negotiation phases here, but we are going to ask some tough questions here. And if you're open to answering them, they will. So just bring that consumer confidence to both sides of it, because the home seller is like, well, why does this buyer want to buy my house sight unseen? And the home buyer is like, hey, I want to take advantage of this, because I realize that as soon as these bans are lifted, and as soon as we can show these properties, we understand that we might lose out on our dream home here. So we want to at least reserve our dream home going into this. So we always understood what the consumers were saying, and we just had to formulate solutions around it.
Nice. And then the ones who wanted to buy, I'm sure they got to, find the house they like, have a little more opportunity to see all of them in depth. I think, especially with 3D and having all the videos, you can actually see the house even better than physically walking it, because you can actually sit there and zoom through each and every room, look at the kind of style, the shape, even you can see with the good professional cameras, you can even see the details and even any damages.
Yep.
It's kind of nice to be able to look at it for more than 5 minutes and say, hey, I actually like this house. I actually like the lighting. I can look throughout the day,
Exactly.
Cool if they had a time lapse of the whole day, so you can look at each room and how the lighting shifts, We should
Yeah,
add that. We should add
that'd be
that.
cool. Yeah, we didn't do that one, but that'd be pretty cool.
I actually thought about doing that one for my client because she had a house in Pacifica with all the ocean beach views, and you can see the dolphins outside and everything. I should have just like time lapsed the whole thing and watch the season change.
That's awesome.
That'd be a lot of.
I have had a buyer sleep in a home overnight
Wow.
to get the feeling of what it was like to live in the home for 24 hours. The seller allowed it, and it actually got the deal done. So.
Nice. I haven't heard of most sellers not wanting to allow that just in case something happens, but that's definitely something I heard people talk about before, and it's a good way to have people kind of get a little experience.
Yeah.
But
It's
nice.
not common.
It's not common at all. I even had one client move all his furniture in before he closed. He said, I have everything ordered here. I'm like, thanks for the surprise. You actually need to wait. But he goes, he couldn't wait. And he did it. I'm like, all right, I guess that works. I'm glad you closed.
That's awesome.
Nice. Okay. So now that you guys are back up and running, and today's day one now. And you're
literally less than a day. Yeah,
less than a day.
The news dropped about 6, 7 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
And so our association went into scramble mode. They're creating all these documents, and attorneys were reviewing the governor's orders. I mean, all sorts of things were happening overnight.
So what kind of special requirements are they doing in forms are they doing?
So nothing crazy with the forms right now. So what we have to do is we have to limit the showings, we have to limit the people that attend showings to 1 agent and 2 people maximum. Okay. So that's fine with us. And then we have to wear face protection at all times during that. They're not requiring gloves. They're not requiring booties or anything like that. And they just have to stagger the showings to a minimum of 30 minutes. 30 minutes between each showing, because they expect that you clean up after yourself if you touched anything in the home, but they highly encourage not touching anything in the house while you are there. So we prep our sellers to like turn on lights, open up blinds, make sure everything is ready for that home buyer tour.
Nice. So they're actually allowing vacant and occupied homes, and I'm sure they're assuming the seller steps out during the time period. They go in and you open it up. So like in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, what we've been doing too is that they, definitely need masks, and you want to have gloves, you want to have shoe covers. The agent would, open the door, or the seller, if they're, opening the door, setting everything up. And you want to make sure to tell the clients they have to sign a form. Actually, they have to sign a form stating the fact that they know they're walking into a house. There is a coronavirus addendum, and here's the rules. And they have to kind of release liability to that. And if they're open to it, they can do it. We recommend wearing gloves and wearing booties, giving new booties and gloves each time. And then what happens is after the agent opens the door, agent stands outside. The client can go walk around the whole house, 2 people max in the family, and no kids allowed. Go through, don't touch anything. After the showing's done, they come out, keep your social distancing. Then later you do your cleaning service to it, and hopefully people follow that rule within it. And it's definitely a great way to stay safe. And one thing for me is I prefer all clients, even agents, wear booties and gloves just to have extra protection and not touch anything. And your shoes, carries viruses and stuff. Yeah. So just buying like lots of loads of that so they can walk through and feel comfortable for, especially people who live in homes. So that's a good way, good practice for how we're doing it over here in California.
It's a great way.
Something to add to it, and go from that route. And I think people feel more comfortable with that. Yeah. And what we do too is like they ask, try to do all your virtual showings first. Try to get everything seen, understood, disclosures, review everything, and you're really serious. Then we'll schedule a private tour.
Yep. Yeah, same thing on our side. I mean, they gave us like 20 different guidelines to really abide by. So obviously I didn't go through every single one of them there.
Yeah, because you just got it.
Exactly. But very, very similar things as far as virtual things. And also, if you just think about it from a consumer standpoint, it makes more sense. I mean, why would you not want to just spend more time with your family? You get home from work and it's like, hey, I want to go see these 10 houses. Do you really want to go see those 10 houses? Or does it make more sense for me to show them to you virtually while you're eating dinner with your family? Hey, let's walk through these homes and let's narrow it down to 1 or 2, and then we'll go see them either tonight or tomorrow, and really, really get you more heavily focused here.
That is a great way. And I think one thing you could do with that is, for example, if you set up like you StreamYard, for example, and you set up your virtual tour and you can line it up as a showing. So you set up each property, you have all the videos lined up in your queue. You can show each property one at a time and go through it, and they can comment back on each of those properties. And if they like it, they can keep going. If they don't like it, skip through it. But you can build up that, if you do 3D Matterport, you can show virtually, use Zoom or StreamYard, show their screen, show the videos of each room, let them get a feel for that. So it's kind of a different experience. I think one thing we're actually talking about at our company is doing Frame.io. With Frame.io, you can do virtual, so you can have your headset goggles. You can walk through the house. You can be there in person as an avatar, see them, show them the house, and they can be at home viewing that kind of different experience. So that's kind of a new model too, and something that they're working on. So you drop in your 3D Matterport into the system, and then you get a virtual world that you hop into.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's,
awesome.
I think times are changing.
Times are changing. I mean, the great thing about this whole experience is just the new normal that are coming out of this, and the technologies that were always there, but nobody was. Now you're forced to use them. So it's really cool.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest shifts in real estate right now is like teaching agents, teaching buyers and sellers the new norm and how to shift and how to think before thinking and go with the changes in technology. And this is actually accelerating everything across all businesses out there that, hey, here's the new world. Here's how things are going. It's actually way more efficient too. And for me, like I actually came from a technology background doing, military grade encryption security. And our companies were forward thinking for years ahead. Like even today, they're still like 10, 15 years ahead. You haven't seen this stuff, but we've been doing it for 10, 15 years in tech. But seeing that change is like, okay, now things are coming up and these things it's actually better. Like for example, how many listing appointments can you go on virtually now? You want to schedule a listing appointment, you can just schedule online, hop on my Zoom call. Let's talk about what you want, your goals and everything. And if it makes sense, then we can meet in person and go through the house. Let's do all the virtual stuff first, and then go from there. And a lot of top producers are actually realizing that, like, hey, I'm going to keep this forever. Even if we get rid of shelter in place, I'm going to keep my virtual listing appointments, my Zoom calls, my showings, and then it makes sense. I'll come visit you. How much time do I gain from that? And I have more time back for my families. I'm sure everyone wants that. Exactly. Less driving, more safety.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the really exciting thing. I mean, in Pennsylvania, one of the simplest ones that's just been driving me nuts for many, many years is people going to closings. It just never made sense to me. Like, why are we going to closings when all of this can be handled? Like, I don't need to meet the buyer or seller all the time. And it's just always been driving me nuts because closing and title companies were not allowing e-signatures at all. Well, guess what? That shifted completely during this time. And now we're actually able to handle closings virtually and all sorts of things.
Yeah, like who wants to go to a closing and sit there for an hour just to go through all these paper shuffling and you're sitting there just waiting for them? And I appreciate you being there and being supportive to them, but really when they ask questions, the question gets directed back to the escrow officer anyways. Exactly. So there's no really question. And if they ask you, oh, can you verify my good faith estimate? Well, technically you already verified that 2-3 days ago. You kind of helped them look at it, but it still goes back to the escrow and lender to double verify all the numbers. And if anything happens, they'll credit you back at the end of it.
Exactly.
But so I didn't understand that too. So actually I've been in real estate for 13 years. I only went to 3 closings in my 13 years. Mm-hmm. I'm like, after this, actually, with clients, I just want to let you know, here's how the closing process works. I'm here for you. Call me, text me, email me, anything you need during that closing time period. But we already took a look at this together. We already discussed everything. And here's what you're going to do. They're going to sit there and go through all the paperwork. Today, I'm glad they're doing more e-signings, more documentation up front. Today, they're saying, hey, let's DocuSign everything I physically can DocuSign online. Anything I need you in person for, we're going to make it like 5-10 minutes. You're going to come here, sit 6 feet away on a table in the open space in a parking lot in public. You're going to thumbprint all these documents, and then that's it. I'm walking away, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they're actually shifting to that because it just saves time. It actually saves errors from human error too, because you already pre-thought out everything and automated it further.
Yeah, error. I mean, just the confusion around everything, and then just sometimes it's, as you know, real estate transactions are so emotional, and you have all those emotions just sitting around the table, just sitting there, and so it's interesting for sure.
And they're watching you sitting there too, so they're probably wondering, what are you doing? You're just sitting here with me, and you're smiling and happy because you're helping them, but like, you're not serving your other clients at the same time and serving the best purpose of your time.
Right.
So it's kind of different now. Like things are changing, like how it's moving. Even lenders too. Mm-hmm. Lenders are becoming way more efficient, and they're trying to figure out how to do everything online. Like most lenders, over here at least, have everything digital. Applications digital, forms are digital. You upload everything to the website. Some of them still have problems. Like one of the big companies out there, you have to upload one document at a time. You cannot drag drop. You cannot select all. You cannot upload a zip. You cannot give them a Google Drive link.
Wow,
Like,
that's
this
great.
is ridiculous. Like,
And one of my other favorite, so we've been pushing, so we partner with Rently and a couple different like self-showing companies, and we've had self-showing lockboxes on a lot of our vacant properties for a long time, and we've been educating consumers throughout actually like 2 years now of how to do it. And it's so funny because consumers are like, why would I want to tour a home without an agent? And then you have some consumers that just absolutely love it, and then the agents are like, why would a consumer even do that? And now looking at it, all these consumers are like, yeah, I want that no matter what. Agents are like, yeah, I would love to just send somebody to a house by themselves and then get the feedback now. So it's just funny to see the whole shift when they're forced into doing something with everything they have going on.
I think it's just the part of change. Like, most people are just used to the way it is. It's the way we've been doing it for the past 20 years or 100 years, and they're not used to change until they're being forced to change. And once they're being forced, they realize, hey, this is actually so much better. We should have done this a long time ago. Yeah, we told you a long time ago, but you just didn't want to do it, This is how we experienced it because, innovator forward thinkers want to try new things because they learn from it right away. And if either it's good or bad, and they learn from the experience on how to improve it.
Yeah.
So yeah, even like you said, so buyers can go themselves to open houses and check it out themselves and just walk in with the lockbox and the.
They can, yeah. So what they do is, it's either facial recognition or your credit card, and what it'll do is it'll verify who you are, and then it'll allow them into the property, and we can control that manually. Well, we can't do any open houses, so there's no open houses. Obviously, there's a ban to that right now, but yes, we're able to get them into a home at any time with our vacant properties, as long as the homeowner is open to it. And we're able to get them in, and we have a whole feedback system that we're able to walk them through the process and get the feedback from them directly. And consumers want that. I mean, how annoying is it to want to go see a home and then you're stuck trying to get a hold of an agent that might not know anything about the property, and it's like, hey, just go see it, and we'll get all the feedback.
That's amazing because we actually don't have that here yet. We have lockboxes, Bluetooth, but the agent has to open the door, be there and everything else. We don't have access to that. I know there's systems out there and all the technologies out there, but it just hasn't been adopted over here yet. One, I understand is liability. Like, hey, they have access. I understand you give me your ID, your credit card, everything, but and your key, your phone. But at the same time, like, what happens if they damage stuff? But when you look at it, what's the agent going to do if they're damaging stuff anyways? Are they going to sit there? Same thing. I'm just going to watch you. And I saw it, but at the same time, I saw it using your phone and your ID getting in.
It's the same thing. And then it uses very old technology. It's called Z-Wave technology. And with the Z-Wave technology, the cool thing is you can hook it up to thermostats. So you can check the room temperature at any given time. And you can also put motion sensors in the houses. And they're little balls that go in the corners of everything. So you can actually track the movement of somebody that's walking through a home. And the data that you can collect from that is pretty amazing. So you can really tell homeowners when they're thinking about, oh, hey, which house projects should I really focus on right now? And a lot of times you're just shooting off your hip and you're like, well, you should do this or that or this or that. But imagine having the data behind it saying that, hey, we understand that when a homeowner walks into a home, this is where they head first. This is the room that they head to first because we track that movement. We know what's going on. So then we can go to the homeowner and say, well, based on our data, we're able to say that, hey, 90% of people, they go to the kitchen immediately. So let's focus on your kitchen, making your kitchen look like the best thing possible.
Nice. That is definitely a smart way to do it. And getting that data, I'm sure like even like Amazon, Alexa, and like, Google and Apple, if they start adding that in, I'm sure they're already trying to do that for the smart homes. And just seeing that data as a real estate agent and being able to provide instant feedback to your clients, and I understand the privacy and everything, but this is just general data. And you can see a number of counts of, people walking in, how long they stay, understanding that. And I think that will become more and more the future. And especially I think hotels, when they can, will adopt all that. So they understand the capacity and everything that's going on and the usage of the building, the locations and everything. So it's like, I see that that's a great way for the future and how real estate what will happen to real estate and all the changes that are being adopted right now. Like, you're testing everything in 2020, you're testing everything out there and people are trying to like find solutions and be innovative. And how do we keep everyone safe? And how do we provide even better services and forcing you to be more virtual and less physical? That's a good challenge for companies out there. And you see even today, like I keep posting about all these companies are closing their offices down. All these companies are giving permanent work from home access, like Twitter, like a Square, right?
Hmm.
And that's a huge change. Like you're gonna say permanent. You're not even saying next month or whenever shelter in place opens. You're saying permanent or end of year. Like
Hmm.
why the sudden shift, right? To that. One is of course they save a lot of money. Two is safety and liability.
Hmm.
Three is comfortability, right? And four, now you can have a worldwide talent pool. You can live anywhere now. Like, do you
Hmm.
need to live in San Francisco? You can live anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to see that globally. I mean, you're going to see definitely a transformation in our different markets. You're going to see an exodus a lot of times out of those big cities, and the suburban areas are going to blow up a little bit more. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what it just happens on a global scale from an
Yeah.
economic standpoint.
How's Pennsylvania been like since the shelter in place? Like when you guys had the market, was it hot right before it? And how's the market today?
Very hot, very hot. So yeah, we're still in a very a big seller's market. I mean, our average days on market is about 17 days. A home does not last long. Our inventory is so low. So to put it in perspective, we are not San Francisco. We're not millions of people. Our demographic is about 600,000 people. Yet just last week, and it's climbing a little bit right now, is we had 987 homes on the market available. So
Oh,
the amount of homes that are available in our marketplace is very, very low. So new construction opportunities and affordable housing is a very, very big need in our area. And I mean, we're about 60 miles north of Philadelphia and about 60, 80 miles west of New York City. So a lot of these towns, when they're looking for suburban areas, and it's a mass exodus right now of a lot of those areas. So yeah, so we're running into inventory shortage for sure. So
yeah.
even during this whole shutdown, we were experiencing multiple offers every single day.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing to hear, and I'm glad you guys are having that experience, and especially during the time period here, and people being willing to open to still continue to get loans. For example, loans over here have been really hard. A lot of investor loans have got dropped. It's only purchase loans, no more refinances, no more investor loans,
Hmm.
jumbo loans. And
Mhm.
it has to be like pre-existing clients sometimes, if preferred clients, and the rates are fluctuating every day.
Mhm.
But then the challenge is, can you get through it? Can you actually close? There have been some loans that says clear to close, actually almost clear to close. On a day of closing, they actually don't pull the trigger and fund it.
Hmm.
And then the seller and buyer have to go to major issues of debating about the earnest money.
Yeah.
So like the people who can actually close, hopefully they're getting good deals and getting through it. But that's been the challenge for loans over here.
Yeah, the
Drive
investor
by.
world's completely different for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all that funding has dried up for the most part. Commercial financing, all of that is dried up.
So you have like normal purchases, normal houses, and normal price points.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the jumbo loans here have been tough too. Just even if like houses here on average, we'll say like starting point 1.2 million for something that's not great. You have to remodel it, right? Some areas like 1.8 million the average, and you need to spend 200,000 just to fix it up to live in it comfortably. Gets really expensive really quickly.
Good thing is we don't deal with the jumbo loans as much. Our average price point is about 230,000. So
Yeah, that is completely different. You guys have to sell a lot of units
yeah,
to and help a lot of clients out.
yeah, for
So
sure.
then, like the goals, like you said, you guys did 2,000 deals last year
2,089 deals last year. Yeah.
with a 30 average of 30 people.
Yeah, 29 to be exact, agent wise.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Wow, 29. That's a lot of deals.
Yes, Kelsey does a lot of deals.
How do you even do that?
Go ahead, Kelsey.
The only way that I would possibly be able to do as many deals as I did 80 deals last year with my two little toddlers running around, was because we have a team system here at DLP that our CEO Don Wenner developed. He has separated the sides into buying specialists and listing specialists, and then on top of that, we also have closing managers. We own our own marketing company. We also have a lot of access because we own our own property management company and have leasing specialists. And it's basically it's a one-stop shop. And it's all basically a team of 40 people that one agent's working with. So whether you have a buyer specialist or a listing specialist, that person will have access to about 40 people to help get the deal done. And it's a lot of different hands touching the deal and a lot of different eyes on the deal to make sure that it also closes, right? So once you get that listing under agreement, you have the closing manager and several of the people on our team just making sure that everything is, all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and we get to the finish line. So yeah, I mean, Don really changed the game and made it extremely efficient for us to get things done. We have a great CRM system. You know, the technology that we use, we actually developed first in Arizona. Someone made our own system for us, and then we switched over now to another system that was customized for us. So we've taken steps to make sure we're on top of things.
Nice. That sounds like it. And being to be that efficient, and it is true, real estate like has so many, like hundreds of thousands of tasks to do, and there's no one person, one agent that can do all of it. Even with one TC, it's so hard to do. When you actually start thinking about it and isolating specific areas of the task and having the specialized people in that department to help manage all of that one thing, it makes it so much more efficient and easy to understand and to get rid of human error and forgetfulness and just being overconsumed by all these mundane tasks that need to be done. And by doing that, you're able to be way more efficient, provide more value to your client, and be on top of it and have a whole team, like you said, 40 people working on your one deal rather than one agent working on your one deal. And that helps you, tremendously to scale, right? Yeah. So you can just be your best at what you do, serve your clients and network, and have clear communications with them. And if they can see what's going on every day too, they're like, why wouldn't I want to hire you? Why would I hire one person, pay them commission, or why would I hire you and then get 40 people?
Yeah, it's a huge juggling act, and that's why your average agent only sells like 8 to 10 homes a year. In your market, it might be good.
In our market, if an average agent, some average agents only sell 3 to 4 when they should actually be selling a lot more than that. But if you sell 8 here, that's great. That can, like, let's just say $1 million. That's 8 million already. That's not bad. Hit 10 million. That's great. Some people hit 20, 30, 100 million. Some teams hit 500 million, and that's insane, And that the numbers on the commissions and the checks is tremendous, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I mean, a house is a house, regardless of location. The work is still similar to each other. The price point is just vastly different. And it is nice to be in a San Francisco market. It is nice to say, hey, okay, here's your house, 1.8 million, 1.2 million, 2.4 million, and just help them through it. If you can help, like one guy, he goes, my average price point is 3 million. I help 10 people a year. I'm fine. I don't need to do more than 10 deals. I'm okay. I go enjoy life. I'm here for life. I'm not here to work like that. And then there's other people who are, other people have to hustle, right? And then like our other teammate Sean Work, he does about 60 to 100 deals a year. His average price point is between 250 to 500, and he's like one of the number one agents, solo agents out there. He has a assistant and he has a team, but as a solo, he's crushing it too. Just doing like you. He doesn't have a team of 40 people, but I'm really impressed about how his 2 assistants can still knock out 60 to 100 deals just for him alone. But doing 2,000 with average 30 agents, that's a lot of work. And you said you guys have property management, you guys have other services as well, right? We
do. Yeah, I mean, we're fully integrated vertically. So I mean, we have direct lending services, we have property management, we bring it all in-house, title, mortgage, everything in-house, to really help our consumers.
That's the way to do it. It's kind of like Apple's ecosystem, where if the more you bring everything in-house, the better the experience you can get, the more control you have, the more that you can focus on any individual issues and say, hey, actually, that's the pain point we have. Let's fix it now, rather than letting a third-party vendor fix it on their timeline. Doesn't help your clients, right?
Exactly.
So you guys, I know you guys both have families too. So how do you guys juggle that?
I don't know.
It's hard. It is hard.
Yeah, so I have 3 boys.
3 boys, okay.
Yeah, I have 3 boys. So for me, it's just I know how to shut it off when I need to shut it off, and you have to. If not, you would absolutely drive yourself nuts. So I love it. I'm able to get walks. I eat dinner with the family every single night. But at the same time, I know what I need to do during the day in order to accomplish something. So I'm very, very focused on my intentionality. I'm not going to let something bother me that's just out of my control, or it's just not going to get me to further my goals. So that's all it is. It's all about time management, but being dedicated in that time that you're spending.
I think the number one part is that you have a wife who's the better half of you that helps also juggle and manage that, because juggling with 3 kids is a lot of work. It's like 3 full-time jobs for, for one person. And if you're outside working and, during that time period, they're juggling 3 jobs at the same minute. And I'm impressed by my wife and how she manages our 2 kids right now, like a 3.5-year-old and a 5-month-old. And I'm working in and out. My schedule's, all fluctuating, but we try to do everything we can to take care of them, keep them safe, have a lot of fun. 3 kids is a lot.
No, and that's why I love Kelsey. I mean, she can definitely expand upon it, but I mean, she's literally taking care of her kids. Like me, I'm lucky. Yes, I have my great wife for sure, and she takes care of that. But Kelsey's literally taking care of her kids while still selling 80 homes a year. So,
you want to tell us about that, Kelsey?
I mean, obviously I'm a mom, so there's a little bit more responsibility tied to it. And my boys are 15 months apart, so 2 and 3 years old. Just big handfuls, and that's it. Just Jonathan's been coaching me through this, and thank goodness for him, because he's just incredible. And that was my challenge. I had to figure out how to just compartmentalize everything, and then allow for the things that I can't control. My kid's going to get sick one night. I'm going to have to figure out how to make up the time somewhere, and then I basically tackle what I can when I can, and focus. And then when I can, I have to make sure that I'm there for my family. And it's been especially, a challenge now because my husband's essential. So it's me and the boys, but we're doing great. And our team is so positive. I mean, we huddle every morning. We speak to each other. And I think that's one of the biggest things that has really helped me get through this is I'm just surrounded by positive, gritty people.
That's nice. And, being a mom and, you have 2 kids and they're 2 and 3, it's a lot of work. And that at that age, they're not self-sufficient yet. So then you're always spending a lot of time with them and you want to spend every minute with them. I'm sure, like I would love to spend every single second if I can with them. And it's hard to balance it. But, being able to be there right now, especially during this time and seeing them and taking care of them, keeping them home safe, teaching them, like every night, my ritual is every night I'll read as many books as I can until we get tired. I'll read like 1 to 5 books in like 100 pages. And my point of it is that even if they're 5 months old or they're 3.5 years old, the more that you can read to them every single day, the more they'll learn. One article I read before is like, we actually did this and it actually works. We started from day 1 when they're born. We started reading books every night to them. And what happens is they say that your kid by 3 or 4, he'll understand like 25,000 words versus a parents who can't have the time to do that. They'll understand about 5,000 words.
Absolutely.
So it makes a big difference. And we've kind of proven that because we did it to our kid. And at 3.5 years old, his articulation, his vocabulary is really, really exponential. Compared to other kids in the same age group. They can talk and speak, but when you hear him, he'll talk in paragraphs, he'll talk all day, he'll tell you all these different crazy ideas and just share life with you. And like, wow, I didn't even think about that. I even you understand. Like even today, he understands that shelter in place. He understands that, oh, you can't go outside, you'll get sick. People need to wear masks, they need to wear gloves, they need to wash their hands. If they don't, what happens is you can bring it back home, and get your brother sick, and like he said, okay, I understand. That's why we're not going out. And he hasn't complained about 60 days already, 70 days. He hasn't said nothing. He said, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
they understand, right? Kids understand more than we think they understand.
And that reading thing is huge. I mean, I'm all about the reading at night for sure. I read, like you said, 3 or 4 books a night. And the other book that actually Finley's one of my younger ones. He's 3 years old, and what we've been doing with him too is these find a picture books, and we give him a list of things, and he'll find it, and he'll find out stuff before me, and I'm like, that's really, really, really cool.
It is. It is a great way. And then if you try, for example, like giving them all the mazes to draw and all these different picture books and everything, they'll start picking up so fast, and they even finish it faster than you will, just because their mind is so clear and open. They can just focus on that one thing. It's amazing to see. And like being home to teach them, like balancing real estate with that and being family and teaching your kids at the same time is a lot of work. And it's tough to say, hey, I'm going to spend time doing all real estate and leave my kids outside, right? So like every minute we get, so that the point of that is also like, how do we prioritize? How do we focus? How do we keep on track on what we really need to do? What should be delegated to other people to do? What we shouldn't really do today, right? And if we can't do it today, everyone understands we're in shelter in place. It's definitely a huge challenge, and to kind of balance life now in a different norm. Do you think this is a new normal that you're going to keep seeing?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I tell my team every single day, this is a new normal. Don't ever say that when this gets back to normal, because it's not. It's just not. We're in it. Like we're in the new normal. So get it done. And whether it's family, whether it's work, I mean, everything's about over communication, just communication in general. So it's okay if your kid is in your Zoom call with you. It's okay if you're on the phone negotiating with a client and your kid interrupts. It's okay. Just let the clients know, hey, this is life. If you can't accept life, then there's deeper stuff that you need to focus on. But most of the people are fine with everything.
I think for the majority, I would say 99% are fine with that. 99% probably do have family, they have kids, they understand the kids. There's like the 1% who hate it, and that's totally up to them. But I don't have to. Our choices, we don't have to work with them. If they're going to be like, we understand, like, hey, we're doing everything we can to help serve you, and if you don't appreciate that, we're stuck in shelter in place. My kids are right here in the background. I'm doing a graduation video announcing the new, Pennsylvania's open again, and the kid hops in. I love it. It's like that's normal. That's life. You gotta enjoy that, and like let them be a part of it, right? Like, who cares if my kid hops in the video? Just hi, say what's going on. How are you, right?
Exactly.
If you can't handle that, then maybe we shouldn't be talking. That's fine. I'm okay. I'm here to help serve everyone. If you don't want to be a part of that, that's your choice.
Yeah.
And that's proven. You guys have proven it. You guys helped 2,000 people. Imagine how many clients you guys have throughout all the years you've been in business. You said over 10 plus years, right?
Yeah, we have 90,000 clients. Yeah,
90,000. So when are you gonna have a party for 90,000 clients?
Well, we can't because we can't have any group gatherings.
Yeah, we'll get tables, noodles, and sit up 6 feet apart, and have 90,000 people here at a party. That's a lot of clients. That's a lot of great community, and people appreciate that and see you. I'm sure when you walk around, everyone kind of knows who you guys are, and that you're here helping them.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely parties are precept. This is a great way. People, I actually know some agents. They did parties. They started in real estate, like 1, 5, 10, and they got to 5,000. They had a party for 5,000 of their clients.
That's awesome.
I'm like, wow. And I was like, he just kept building it bigger and bigger every year. Like, hey, let's just keep doing this because it's growing, and he's building a whole event planning team and making a commitment to providing back to his community. And like the exponential power of helping your clients that way, and to create a network and helping each other, refer each other, and build a community. So if you get 90,000, you basically, how many people are? They said there's 600,000. So you're almost there.
We're almost there. Yeah, I mean, we had a dinner the other night with our team, and there's about a little over 500 people on a Zoom call with a dinner on that. So
500.
So it was pretty cool.
500 is a lot of people. Imagine if they're just all talking at the same time.
Yeah, I can't.
No, you can't do that. But you can split them up. Actually, you can split them up into different rooms too if you wanted to, like different table rooms, and they can just chat with each other, and you can combine them back again. That's a pretty cool feature that Zoom has.
It is. It's great for trainings and just great for role plays, and yeah, it's just great overall.
And even for your office, for you and your office, you guys are, I'm sure with your agents, you guys are adapting to that and trying to get used to Zoom. There's even Google Meet now, and there's Facebook Messenger, the rooms now. You can do public rooms, you can do private rooms. It's a pretty cool feature, like public rooms. Imagine if you just left it open 24/7 and random people can hop in and out, so they can join your conversation. And that's kind of cool concept. Like, hey, I'm just walking to you. I saw you next door. I'm going to hop in and talk to you.
So a lot of our team members right now, like our marketing team, they're all over the country right now. So we have marketing people in Florida. We have one out in Denver, Colorado. And it's exactly what happens is that they have just an open meeting room, and it's open all day long. You can jump in, jump out whenever you want. Obviously, during a meeting, it'll be closed, and it'll say it's a meeting's going on. But any other time, you can just jump in, jump out, talk to them just like you're there. And you just have to respect the time, because sometimes the Colorado guy's about 3 hours behind. You just got to watch it.
So like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about social media marketing. Like you guys, helping serve all these clients. We talked about the virtual worlds, but now in marketing, like, are you guys doing video marketing? You guys doing social media marketing? Both?
A little bit. It's actually one of our things that we're a little bit weaker at, and we've been getting better and better at it. But for us, radio and television has always been the #1 bread and butter for us, at least in our local markets. So that's really where we built our brands, and then just client referrals in general. We create such a wow experience for them that they're naturally just coming to us and naturally just feeding off that. But that's something that we've been working on really over the last, say, 6 to 8 months, is really start to build the social media end of it.
Nice. So, for example, you already have a good base. You already have proven results. You keep adding, fuel to the fire, and now you add on to the new platforms, the social media platforms, the video platforms, the virtual platforms. And by doing that, you're able to, re-engage your clients in different ways. You're able to actually provide value that way, and content, especially number one thing that agents need to provide is a lot of great content. You're saying so many great things a day. You're talking about the markets every day, but putting it into video format and resharing it and being able to reshare and be global now. Like, for example, like this call right now, this is a global call. Everyone can see it. They can replay it forever. They can share it to anyone they want. They can, see you and hear you and, visually, connect with you. Right. But if you're just doing text, radios was like one way, and I can't see you. I don't know who you are. I don't know. But now I can actually see you. I can tie in your voice with your face, with your emotions. Right. And how great you are at helping people. Exactly. And connect with you. So we find that a lot of value, and we're trying to teach our agents how to do more video marketing, create all the content. Here's all the ideas, topics, here's things you should talk about, and just be yourself. That's it. But by switching to that and moving forward, and you can start seeing the results from that, you can start improving it. And we think it's really great, and it helps a lot in terms of building your brand and tying in, if you want to tie in search engine optimization. So imagine if you had your website up and running, you have all your videos you're posting, and I see you, Jonathan, you're posting a lot of great YouTube videos right now. You're talking a lot of about a lot of great things, and continue doing that. What happens is on YouTube, you need minimum of 36 videos before you start even counting of any value to YouTube, to search engines. And the longer content you can get, and the quality of time on video, the more value you'll start ranking higher. And you can see people start scaling quickly when they start doing these certain traits. So like one of our agents, she's killing it on YouTube. We told her, here's the goals, here's what you do, just do it. We say do 1 a week. She did 10 this week. I'm like, and she's like, I'm tired. I need to sleep. I'm like, I didn't tell you to do 10 videos, and your videos are like 1 minute to 8 minutes long. And they're so good that she's generating so much business from that. I'm like, wow, it's working. And she's skyrocketing her view count right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, and one thing you got to pay attention to is what the social media places are advertising. So, for example, Facebook is advertising right now about their 3-minute long videos or 3-minute plus videos, and the algorithms that they have are so smart that you don't want to mess with the algorithms anymore, and they're forcing you not to mess with the algorithms. So, but they're telling you, hey, create content that's more than 3 minutes, and we will self-promote this higher than anything else. So, guess what you should do? Create a video that's more than 3 minutes, and that should be super engaging in that first minute to make sure that they get past that 3-minute mark. So
exactly, and you actually get to understand analytics behind all this. Like in radio and newspapers and physical formats, you don't get to understand the full analytics behind it. But on your video, you can say, "Hey, within the first 7 seconds, everyone left. Okay, what did I do wrong?" And then later you learn, okay, they're staying 1 minute. What happened after the 1 minute? But you got to start understanding that and adding value. You can start seeing demographic data, age data, and locations. So you can figure out, okay, these and the topics too. Like this topic is great. I thought this one was great. I spent 1 hour on it and no one watched it. Oh, that sucks, Yeah. And it's getting easier too. And we talked about that before too. Like, content marketing versus documentation. Like Gary Vaynerchuk talks about that a lot. The more you can just document your life, especially Kelsey and Jonathan, like you guys do so many deals. If you document the process throughout, like, hey, here's behind the scenes, here's me going to open house, here's me prepping for, a new listing and shelter in place and preparing how to clean the house and everything, and just providing these videos and putting like how-to videos, FAQ videos, and just different basics on buying, selling, investing, lending, and just tying it to your website, tying it to your YouTube, into your Facebook, you become like your own personal search engine for your area. And that adds a lot of value to everyone, because you don't have to ask me again. Like for myself, I have a website called Avant University, and I'm creating 195 courses, and I'm giving it to all my agents. And basically it talks about everything from marketing, sales, tech, all the applications out there, how to use it. It's all written, all pictured, and it's going to be added video to it, so that they don't have to ask me every day, how do you do this? Because some of my documents are 1 page to 100 pages on how to do something. Because I had to train 1,000 engineers. I'm like, how do I train 1,000 engineers? I document everything I do and show you, and I can build it in throughout life, and people can have access to it.
Here's the link.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't read it, follow it, watch a video, then maybe you shouldn't be here.
Come back to me and ask me the questions after.
Come back after you look at it, right? And that saves you so much time, but you're actually giving more value by doing that too. You're giving them what they need without waiting for you, and without having you to re-explain it 100 times. So like, how do you 10x your business is kind of like the Grant Cardone method. those ways of video marketing and engaging is 10xing your content, your value, right?
Mhm.
So like, what else we want to talk about today? We want to talk about like, you mentioned restrictions on title agencies. Is there any restrictions right now?
Um,
Or is it
uh,
all gone?
no, no, they're basically all gone right now. The only restrictions right now is making sure that all the counties are opening up for tax certifications, and make sure. Other than that, I mean, that's a very minute detail, but other than that, no.
Are the counties actually back? I mean, the like records are back open, so you can actually record. You can record. You could have recorded throughout the whole time.
No, some
Okay.
counties were completely shut down.
Okay, they shut down.
Yeah, and it was county by county basis, at least in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And to preface all of this, I mean, there's still businesses, unfortunately, just suffering out there with a lot of different things. Luckily, real estate's an industry that the governor came out and said, 'cause it used to drive me nuts when I go to a grocery store or go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something, and there's a line out the door. Yet I can't even show a vacant home or take a photo of a vacant home. That was just driving me nuts.
Yeah, that wasn't fair at all.
I didn't understand that. But I mean, there's a time, place for everything. But with all that, there's just still a lot of like, just from the local economy, there's still a lot of suffering from a local business standpoint, a lot of suffering. So we're lucky for sure. We'll count our blessings on that. And the only thing we can do is continue to support our community, obviously help our home buyers and home sellers, but then also just support our local businesses, support our local community, especially in this time where they're not able to do anything. I mean, I still can't get a haircut. I can't still do any of that.
Your hair looks good though.
Well, you don't see the back of it.
It's a party in the back, you know. It's nice and clean on the sides. A party all back there. You cut it yourself too?
No.
You know, I cut my own myself actually. It's just all you do is get a razor. Use 3 grades of the razor, like for example, a 12, 9, and 6, and then you go up first, and then next one, and you can fade it all clean. And the back you just go like this, and it works. You know, and then you just cut the top with trimmers and everything. I actually cut my kids' hair since they're born, so it's actually pretty easy now. I just had to figure out how to do it yourself without looking at mirrors. So it was a challenge, but it got through it. You know, it feels better being clean too. You know.
She used to have really short hair. No.
Her hair looks good. Probably gets heavier, right? You can't cut it for a while. It gets heavier.
Yeah, I am on strict orders though. My hairdresser is like, do not try to cut this.
Oh yeah, you don't want to mess all her work she did, you know. Like, when are you coming over to my house and cut it for me? I'll pay you. We're talking about like underground haircut stylists come over, you know, we'll plan it out so you can cut our hairs. But hopefully they can go back to business. I know they're still closed right now, and it's been a long time for them, and they're suffering. They're paying rent. Their landlords aren't giving them any, you know, free. Most of them aren't giving any free rents.
No, not at all. And that's all those industry would feel. I mean, just from a real estate perspective, I mean, the commercial industry is just going to be hammered and crushed. I mean, it already is. It's unfortunate to see a lot of that happening right now.
You see a lot of offices closing down, a lot of restaurants closing down, and other businesses, right? Unfortunately, yeah. And I think that commercial space is going to be a huge change. And even if they open back up, I'm wondering, how do they do social distancing within a small space? Like, for example, if you had like, let's say 20 feet by 20 feet as an example, how would you get people in there and, you know, keep everyone apart and keep it clean every day, every session?
So a fun fact in Pennsylvania, so they haven't opened it up, at least in our county yet, but I see our mayor taking initiative on this. So we live in a local area called Easton, and what the mayor is going to be doing is, to your point, is these restaurants, when they open it back up, it's usually got 25% capacity. And yes, some of these restaurants can only hold like 30, 40 people in the max. And it's like, if you open up at 25% capacity, it won't even matter about opening it because they won't be able to make any money. So what he's doing is, a lot of these are and we have a downtown area that has a little circle in it. And what he's able to do is he's actually going to close down that circle to traffic. And then he's going to allow the restaurants to get into the streets to expand their footprint outside. So obviously we're going into the summer months here in Pennsylvania. So it'll be a nice ability to go outside and have a nice little dinner once everything opens back up.
Can't wait to see that. I heard Berkeley's doing that over here, and also like in June 1st too, they just announced that Napa County is actually opening up restaurants, dine-in restaurants, and they're opening up schools again. So it's going to be interesting to see. For me, as with kids, I'm actually going to wait 2 months to see what happens, and hopefully nothing bad happens. But I don't want to be the first person to test it out. to see what happens for my kids. At least for myself, it's different. For my kids, I would not want to test it out, you know.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a big change. But I heard even last night, like China had a second wave, and they had like they're trying to close down 104 million people and they had 120 new cases just pop up. So
Wow.
trying to isolate it and find back out again. Like they had everything back open, and now
Mhm.
they're shutting everything back down.
Wow. Wow.
So it's like, okay, well, what do we do? This is a new norm. Are we going to keep opening and shutting? Are we keep our kids home forever?
Exactly. And nobody knows. And that's what worries me sometimes about the real estate industry. I mean, we're going to see a huge boom in sales over the next month. Just going to be natural. But what's going to happen when all these forbearances come into play? What's going to happen when the fall happens and all of these unemployment rates really catch up to us? What's going to really happen? So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, because they talked about the forbearance. There's over 4 million people
Mhm.
in the country, right? That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wait for the effect to take at least 3 to 6 months to see what happens, and if people are gonna start calling the loans, and even if they can refinance, do they
Mhm.
even have a job anymore?
Exactly.
And how's that gonna work? And hopefully the market doesn't crash, but technically you're aiming all the same direction.
Mhm.
A lot of companies are all shutting down their offices. They're going online. They're trying to cut costs and hopefully save money and save jobs. But a lot of companies like Airbnb just laid off a big percentage. Uber and everyone else is laying off huge percentages.
Mhm.
So
I
my
mean, the
tech
great news
friends,
is that people that are coming back into their business and coming back into work. The nice thing about these mortgage companies is that they're able to get back to their loans immediately. So there's no long waiting period anymore. They're able to actually get back and buy the home right away.
okay, nice. I'm glad, and I hope that we continue pushing forward, and that we can, the jobs at least stay, and that we can keep building upon it, and especially like Facebook and other companies, like tech companies and online cloud companies are hiring like crazy right now. They can afford to hire and just find ways to keep it social distance, work from home, work from anywhere, and do that. So hopefully we all can go. For example, people can go there and get jobs there rather than the physical ones here.
Yep.
But yeah, right now I think that's about wraps it up for today. I want to definitely catch up with you guys more soon. How can we reach out to you guys?
Go to Facebook.com. Oh, Facebook.com. But yeah, you go to Facebook and just look up DLP Realty. And we're posting a ton of content on there. Obviously, go to Facebook and just look up Kelsey, look up Jonathan, look up our personal profiles. Happy to help anybody out there. That's our mantra. I mean, we're always solution minded. So yeah, any questions anybody has, just reach out to either her or I and knock it out.
So definitely, I know, like for us, if we have any clients to refer to you guys, we're going to talk to you, Kelsey and Jonathan, over in Pennsylvania, and recommend and refer you business over there. And
For
you guys
sure.
are doing what you guys need to do to help, and you guys have proven results. Definitely here. So everyone else out there, check us out. We have interviews online, our mastermind events, and you can go to youtube.matthewma.com for more information and see Jonathan, Kelsey, and along with all of our other clients and interviews we have with a guest. Next week, we'll have Real Producers Magazine editor-in-chief for San Mateo County, Santa Clara County. He'll be on, Mitchell Felix. I'm excited to have him here next week. We'll be discussing everything on, and he talks a lot about with a lot of great top producer agents around the area, and he'll be sharing some experiences with that. But we look forward to seeing you guys soon, and we'll catch up soon, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Bye.
Thanks, Matt.
Let's see.